So, a bunch of you really like Deadpool, like a crazy amount. And when I asked you guys the weekly Twitter question for this week about what the best meta movie is or best meta movie moment, pretty much all of you guys came for this one. But I knew some of you would also come up with some really interesting ones, some good recommendations out there. So yeah, the question for this week is inspired from Deadpool. I have a whole video on Mr. Reynolds and his tights coming up, a whole theory video on Deadpool coming up. But for this one, pretty much I asked on Twitter what the best fourth wall breaking movie is. And what I love about the Friday episode is that I not only get you guys involved, who you guys make up the show, but sometimes you guys bring up movies that I haven't thought about in the longest time. For those of you who do love Deadpool, which is a lot of you, if you're not aware of these movies, you're about to run out of ink as you write a list for all of these movies that may become your next favorites. Starting with The Godfather. The Don, the person who pretty much owns the whole fourth wall breaking concept in all of his movies, Mel Brooks. Some of you guys brought up the Spaceballs scene, obviously the VHS scene when they're watching themselves in the movie, the ending to Blazing Saddles. I personally, my favorite one that Mel Brooks has ever made. It is dumb, it is idiotic. I don't agree with the 48% Rotten Tomatoes, but to me, Robin Hood Men in Tights is the funniest one. It is ridiculously dumb. It is up there probably top 5 of my favorite parody movies, or not even parody, but fourth wall breaking movies that makes fun of other stuff. And it just continues to show that literally any Mel Brooks scene makes it to the top of the list.
Lend me your ears. That's disgusting.
D had brought up when Denny says Tommy instead of Johnny at the end of the room, when Johnny shot himself.
Johnny's dead! Wake up, Johnny, please!
Oh no, I don't...
Wake up, Johnny, please! Wake up, Johnny, please!
I feel like he's just...
Johnny, please! Wake up, Johnny, please! Wake up, Johnny, please!
I hear Yanny. Lord and Miller, I would say, are the new generation versions of Mel Brooks. Like, I believe they would be the ones who get the mantle passed on to them. Obviously, 22 and 21 Jump Street were the ones that popped out to you guys a lot. There's this one right here. Any joke in 21 or 22 Jump Street, this department has no originality, so it just rehashes things from the past. They know how to handle it perfectly. Like, there's always that thing when it comes to meta-ness, right? For example, best movie of April in 2018, Truth or Dare, where it thought that by saying that it looked like a dumb Snapchat filter, that would be okay for them to use the Snapchat filter. No, it's not. So, like, they know how to border the line between when it's okay to acknowledge the fact that you're rehashing something, but doing it in a way where it actually feels authentic, or it actually is funny, it actually delivers. Same thing is not only for these clips, but you also got the other one where they did the Lego movie. The third act of the Lego movie still stands. I know some people don't like the following ones. I still love Lego Batman, which they were producers on. The way it just dissects the superhero genre through the toys that you step on in the middle of the night. Even the Ninjago movie, which is practically just about parenting.
You ruined my life.
That's not true. I haven't even been a part of your life. How could I ruin it? I wasn't even there.
I also got a couple of pretty cool ones dealing with some action movies, and one of the ones that stood out to me was this right here, this double one. What about when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson rock bottom Jason Statham in Furious 7? And then there's this following over here. Another great meta rock moment was in Welcome to the Jungle, where he was walking into the nightclub only to pass Arnold Schwarzenegger, leaving as he says, "have fun," like a passing of the torch from one action star to another. I personally would connect that a lot to a movie. If you haven't seen this is the one you add to your list. Last Action Hero. I saw this like when the craze of fourth wall breaking movies was coming out. This is probably like a little bit before Deadpool had dropped. And I had seen it for the first time. And it's a movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger plays an action hero after this kid goes into his ticket, or he goes into the movie screen and he's in the movie and they're interacting with other movie characters. It is crazy. If you're into fourth wall breaking movies, then Last Action Hero's got to go on your list. That's another top 5 for me. The scene in Annie Hall where they're standing in line. Again, another classic one. I love it.
What do you do when you get stuck on a movie line with a guy like this behind you?
Wait a minute, why can't I
just
give my
maddening.
opinion? This is a free country?
I just don't know if it's still okay to say that. A lot of people really like The Big Short one because, you know, all the fourth wall breaks. And the fact that this one didn't just do the fourth wall break, just do the fourth wall break. They took the time to have celebrities speak to you on the very important issue that was going on within the movie, of the crisis that was happening. And it really spoke. It had Margot Robbie drinking champagne in a bathtub. that also stood out. All of the purposely introduced horror tropes throughout The Cabin in the Woods, it's honestly my fave when it comes to meta. The most meta point for Cabin in the Woods to me was the fact that Joss Whedon had practically sat on that movie since it had some Avengers stars in there, and he sat on it just a little bit until they were able to hype it up with Avengers coming out, which he had also directed. But yeah, that movie does it fantastic. If I'm going to talk about horror, right here, a lot of people are talking about Wes Craven. Wes Craven is the genius when it comes to that. In Scream, when Randy is yelling at the TV saying the killer is right behind her and to turn around while Ghostface is sneaking up behind him. This right here, the entirety of Wes Craven's New Nightmare. For those, maybe some people have preferences for the older ones, the more original ones, Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. New Nightmare is a movie, it's a horror movie that's being written in the horror movie that you're watching about the horror movie that you're watching. I know some of you had said Zombieland, and that one's also good, but if we're talking about horror fourth wall breaks, Wes Craven gets all the credit for that. And again, that's another one. I'm not sure if I've already overfilled my top 5, but New Nightmare gets up there as well as some of the best fourth wall break movies. In Funny Games, when this BS happens. If you haven't seen Funny Games, there's 2 versions of it. There's the version that was done in Hineki's original language, and then it's literally the same exact certified copy version of the movie in English, done exactly the same way. They're both fantastic. They're both great. That scene right there that was brought up, I'm not gonna spoil it. Go watch this movie. You're going to feel a way about it. Maybe you're gonna completely hate it. Maybe you're gonna love it. But it's definitely one that's worth watching when it comes to fourth wall breaks. Nothing beats The Holy Mountain. Absolutely. I don't want to spoil the one in The Holy Mountain, but it comes right at the end. Jodorowsky, who I don't know if I'm able to deem him as my uncle. I think he might be from Chile. He can adopt me. He'd be another one of the uncles that I give a shout out to. This man creates some of the most trippiest stuff. Honestly, if you're tired of like mainstream stuff, go watch El Topo. Go watch The Holy Mountain. It is some of the trippiest things out there. If he was ever able to see, maybe some of you know him from Jodorowsky's Dune, where he was this close to making that movie and he had these crazy ideas. Read his comics. This dude makes some insane stuff, and The Holy Mountain was like one of the first to do, from my knowledge, this specific thing in a movie, and it still stands to this day. A couple of the quick ones here in a fast round. Some of you guys have said Emperor's New Groove. One of the things that stood out to me specifically for this one is Emperor's New Groove is full of them, from the narration, the waterfall, to the villain transforming into a kitten, considering she's voiced by Catwoman. The entirety of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, where it's these kids who think that these hillbillies are these like murderous guys who live out in the woods, when really it's them accidentally killing each other while they're the nicest guys in the world. You have to check this out. Alan Tudyk's in it. I believe it's still on Netflix, so you're able to check it out there. Some of you guys had even said Magnolia.
See, this is the scene of the movie where you helped me out.
The entirety of Jurassic Park 2. They spent so much time wondering whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think whether or not they should. To me, it's Jurassic World that stands out. There's some like behind the scenes stuff with the director where he's talking about how the whole movie's about consumerism, and it's kind of like making fun of the blockbuster. He puts the product placement right in your face when it comes to the Jeeps and everything else. And that goes back to the first movie, where one of the most interesting parts about it is how my dude's always saying we spared no expense, and literally the reason why everything goes bad is because they didn't pay the guy who causes it to all go amok. One of the best has got to be Tarantino patting himself on the back for his masterpiece in Inglorious Bastards. I've said this. Inglorious is not my favorite Tarantino film, but unbiasedly, I think it's the best, most well-crafted, and according to him, because he literally ends the movie on the shot with him saying,
I think this just might be my masterpiece.
This is the end. Meta jokes on the cast worst films. That's probably the best part of the movie, because I'm always a big fan of actors, or like literally any celebrities, any comedians, writers, any creators who are able to like look at themselves and have a laugh about it. And I think this movie does it perfectly. All of their like flubs and flops that they had in this movie. Some of you had mentioned Ferris Bueller, which is obviously a standout. That one's a given. But literally only one of you mentioned the best parody franchise of all time, and that is the Naked Gun series. For those of you who don't know, Leslie Nielsen he's the, like, if Mel Brooks is the head honcho, like the top of the top when it comes to directing, like if he is a director that deals with meta-ness the best, Nielsen's the best actor when it comes to it. The man's got the best delivery. Some of you may know him from the Scary Movies franchise where he played the president. He's fantastic there, but in the Naked Gun series, it's like the consistency of the franchise. They may not have like a standout movie, but the consistency of the franchise and like the lines and the quotes that they give, nothing beats it.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
The point in Synecdoche, New York, where you notice that there are actors playing the theater director, played by the actors, playing the director, with a real actor playing a director being directed by a real director. I am not going to explain this movie at all. This is a Kaufman film, so you have to go into it. Have absolutely no idea what you see the first time. Watch it again, then kind of get it a little bit. It's a crazy movie. It is insane. Hoffman gives a fantastic performance in there. But if you like Hoffman, I would say watch Adaptation, which was also brought up here. Adaptation is these two brothers. They're both played by Nicolas Cage. They're twin brothers. They're writing a script. And Kaufman himself invented a fake twin brother who he credited as helping him write the script. Then he went on to get nominated for an Academy Award. And so did the fake brother who doesn't exist. Thus, that means that there is an imaginary person out there that has more Oscar nominations than some of us do. Literally every single Christopher Nolan movie. There is a whole thing going on here. I'm not even kidding. Like, literally, if you watch every Christopher Nolan movie, like right here, The Prestige, where Michael Caine is explaining the magic trick, and it's actually him explaining the plot of the movie. And he does this for a lot of things. Some of you are now catching on this Inception thing right here. I'll put it to you this way. One of the theories that's been around with Inception is the fact that replace the whole idea, this whole cast of the people who helped create a dream, and think of dreams as being movies. Dreams are movies, movies are dreams. And you have the director, you have the screenwriter, you have the production designer, and they're kind of representative of each other, the same crews that you have on both. Some have even noted this little poster right here looks a lot like Christopher Nolan. So it's like him saying, yo, these are the suits that I wear when I'm directing. This guy would be the director of the crew. But there's a little running one, right? For those of you who have been very keen to it. Every single one of his movies, in my opinion, a majority of them at least, are kind of like a meta love letter from Christopher Nolan to his kids. In Inception, it's all about him getting back to his family. In The Dark Knight, it's about him being able to settle down and stop traveling to have that family. In Inception, or in Interstellar, it's him trying to get back to his family. I'm just saying, we got these bags, we staying woke over here. Follow the clues. Finally, there's Danny, who says that one video where you made a joke on how your videos end on a slow, dramatic statement. They do, don't they? Thank you guys for checking out this video. As always, a big shout out to the patrons. They help out on a monthly basis, and it really does help out the show. I don't know if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, which is where I ask these questions weekly as well, every Friday. Some of the craziest copyright things. I may be making a video on that because, like, I got copywritten for music that wasn't even in the video. Twice. But a big shout out to the patrons who for just $1 that helps the show out a lot. And a big shout out to Marcus Theaters. Like I said, if you really like the show and you want to help out in an easy way, go like them on Facebook, go like them on Twitter, let them know that A to Z sent you and that I told you guys that it is the best theater in the Midwest. Been working on a deal with them, and especially to hook you guys up with tickets. If you're in the Chicagoland area, you can go down to the link below. I've mentioned it every Friday. This week it's obviously for Deadpool, so if you're in the Chicagoland area, I'm here to hook you guys up not only with that movie knowledge, but try to help you guys get some free tickets. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, definitely go check out the link down below. If it's not for Deadpool, you know, every week I'll bring up another one, maybe a bigger movie, and yeah, let me know your favorite meta movie down below, your favorite fourth wall breaking moments, any of that, anything dealing with movies down below in the comment section. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.